Well, hello everyone. We're back with you for another episode of Empire Coins and Collectibles. Yes, we've got lots to share with you today. Something a little different, but still it falls in the Exonumia category. I think you will find interesting, at least I hope you do. But before we go there, of course, if you could help us by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and leave a comment down below. We've been getting wonderful comments from many of our subscribers and those that are just dropping by for a visit. And of course, hopefully we've educated a little bit, maybe informed a little bit, and also we hope that we have entertained a bit as well. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be talking about a collecting category that I believe originated out of the military. These are called challenge coins. And the way I hear it, talking to some of the military colleagues that I've worked with in the past, they say that these coins originated from the idea that if you went to a bar and everybody said, okay, show your challenge coin, and you were without your coin, you had to buy the round of drinks. Now, now, I'm not promoting drinking or anything along those lines, but I find that very interesting. It's a bit of history, and if it's true, great. If it's not, it's just one of those myths that's out there. But in any case, it has begat or created a whole new category of collecting. So I want to share with you a few that I have collected over the years. Some of them given to me, some of them given to me by friends, military colleagues, some of them given to me by the companies I've worked for, and some of them given to me, or actually not given, but I've discovered out there in the wild. You know that old motto we keep bringing up? If you're not looking, you're not finding. Some of them are quite interesting. Some of them are just very colorful. So I've chosen a few to share with you. Let's go ahead and get to it. I'm going to change my camera view and just go to the other camera focused on the challenge coin. Now, hopefully it's going to focus a bit, but look at this color. And there's something I really like about this. The color, the different contrasting colors, the white and red stripes, I think, and the blue background with the stars. That's the flag, the US flag. And notice this. This is from 2007, and it is the 2007 Joint Robotics Repair Facilities. And a lot of organizations take great pride in what they do, and even divisions within the Pentagon and with the armed services. And of course, many of you may or may not know my background is in technology. Most of my career was spent in working as an engineer, senior engineer, the manager, senior manager, and director of engineering. So I've had a lot of opportunity to engage with our military personnel, some of the finest people you'll ever meet, and also working with different types of companies from all over the world. But don't you find this interesting? Let me just pick it up and bring it a little closer. See how sharp those colors are? And it looks like it's got four other challenge coins kind of embedded in the motif there. The first one on the left, it says Department of the Navy, United States. Then below that, we have Marine Corps, United States Marine Corps. And then above that, directly above, we have, I think, of course, it looks like the Air Force. It's not coming up real clear. Wonder why that is. Must be the color they use, the gold color. But I would expect that that's the Air Force and perhaps the Army. I'm going to pull it out and read it just a moment. So it says, and I can't even read it barely. Yes, the top one was the Department of the Air Force, United States of America, and the other is the Department of the Army. So I was actually correct. Hopefully that happens more often than not, right? Of course, my wife is the one that's correct all the time. All right, that's Miss Empire. So let's flip it over and take a look at the other side. On the other side, let's see if I can rotate it around where it might be readable by you. It says Colonel Edward M. Ward, USMC. And then OIF OEF 2007. Now, I wish I knew what that meant, and perhaps some of you ex-military type might be able to share in a comment down below. But I love how this is laid out, the enameling, the color used, and of course, the motif. Freedom doesn't come free. Yeah, I mean, that's a play on the words, isn't it? But it's true. It takes a lot of hard work and it has to be defended. And my hat's off for our men and women that serve in the military. And I would also like to thank you for your service. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay, let's go look at another one. Now, it's kind of interesting because they come in all shapes and sizes. And here's one that I worked for a company at one time, and I'll see if it'll focus. And can you read that? Yes. This is a representation of the very first aircraft simulator. In other words, the pilots got in it and it would move around and actually show indications on dials as they took their training in that very first. And you know, for the life of me, I can't remember when this thing was built, but I think it was in the 30s, perhaps. And training was done there, but I should know better because I worked for them for a very, very long time. But it's a beautiful, beautiful challenge coin. And the fact that it is an odd shape even makes it more attractive to me and highly collectible. So I don't think they're called L3 anymore. They're called something else. They've been sold a couple of times, but it was a wonderful time. Worked with some great people there, but I do love the challenge one. And for some reason, it just went out of focus. All right, come on, get back in focus. Can you do that? Well, we'll set it back here and see. There it is. Now, you know, it's the same on both sides, just so you know. But it's excellent, just wonderful colors, very good contrast, and it's something that I'll always cherish as part of my working career. Now, I want to show you something unique. Constellation, Moon, Mars, and beyond. Isn't that gorgeous? There's a secret about this particular challenge coin, and the next one I'm going to show you. It's more interesting than just it being a challenge coin. Let's go to the other side. Notice here, whoops, can we get it situated? Again, it has Aries, Aries 5, Orion, Altair. But you can't read the fine print. These are just different launch vehicles that were being used in advancing our space exploration and actually our expansion into space and becoming a multiplanetary species. I'm like my grandfather. When I was a young boy, he said, I hope I'm alive when I see men step on for the very first time. And he was. And he was just utterly amazed. He had confidence in humanity that we could do that. And the reason why I say I'm like my grandfather, I hope I'm alive when the first woman steps on Mars. Yes, we're going to have a crew that's going to go to Mars, either NASA or Elon Musk, and they're going to have the first landing on Mars. And I hope I'm able to witness that in my lifetime. Now, notice the very fine print. It says this medallion contains medals flown on Aries 1 through 9 and Orion. I think that is PA-1. So what they've done is all those containers that perhaps carried the experiments and all the old instruments that were pulled out and some of the perhaps the structure of it once it was recovered or salvaged, it was probably melted down and then the metals were poured in a mold. So yes, this has been into space. Isn't that amazing? This metal, the metal that makes up this medallion, has flown in space. Pretty amazing thing. Now I'm going to go show you a second one. Let me see if I can get it opened. That also, and I'll tell you where I got these once I show you the second one. I've got to open up that little plastic container. These are perhaps not as colorful, but from a historic standpoint, they're probably something that people will cherish to own and have while they are collecting. Now, here's the second one, and notice it. Excellence achieved by those who believe. Wow, what a motto. Excellence achieved by those who believe. And notice the fine print. This medallion contains metal flown on the historic space shuttle mission complete. How about that? NASA commemorative. And then, of course, this one does have color. Look at the graphics on that. Celebrating the legacy of the space shuttle program. Most of the shuttles are distributed around the country. Some of them are in the, I think one of them's in the Smithsonian, and then others are dispersed at other museums for people to go and look at. And just think about the achievement of the United States in its space exploration. So this medal and this medallion was flown on a space shuttle mission. How historic is that? Wonderful. So obviously, how did I come by this? That's a good question. I came by this because I was going back and forth. Let me just put it out there while I talk. I was going back and forth to Orlando on business. I used to live in Orlando, and I worked for a major company down there that was in the technology arena and defense arena. And I'd always stop by the NASA store there at the Orlando International Airport, and they had these for sale. And so I picked up several. I've given some away to friends, but I have two left, and they're just fantastic. So yeah, if you're not looking, you're not finding. Well, if you're not looking, you may not be buying, because some of these are fairly inexpensive, but they're fairly historic, right? Now, this one shows a Chinook, I believe, helicopter. This one, Paul Aero Power Corporation salutes our troops. How about that? How I came by this was I went to a jobs fair one time, and just kind of walking around looking at the different companies that were set up there. And they were handing out challenge coins to people that were interviewing with them. And so I asked them if I could have one, and they were very gracious and gave it to me. So it's beautiful, isn't it? Again, I love the color, the flag in the background, the Chinook in the foreground, surrounded by the green color with the company's logo. Very colorful, very desirable. And then, of course, here is the bronze side. Very easily, yes, it is a Chinook. It was in focus, and now it's out of focus. Let's see, can you focus? There it is. Okay. And it provides what looks like, I guess that's a telephone number. I'm not sure. And then it's paul.com aerospace cargo helicopters. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Okay. Now, here's an interesting one. I'm not going to open this one up because I've got it in a flip, but even the high schools get involved in this. Here in Texas, out in West Texas, there's something called the Permian Basin, and it's just rich in oil and gas. Well, there's a Permian High School out there. This is a junior ROTC challenge coin. Look at that. Isn't that pretty amazing? I love the shield with the color and the contrasting and Permian embedded in it. And then, of course, here Looks like the crest from the high school. Will it focus? Mojo, Permian High School. Yeah, pretty amazing. So even the high schoolers have gotten involved. And speaking of who gets involved, now if I had the other party's challenge coin, I would share it because I love challenge coins. But look at this one. This is Medal of Merit, George Bush, President. How about that? Not George W., I guess. It's George Bush Sr. And this is the Republican Presidential Task Force. If I've got that wrong, please, for those of you who may know, let me know. And it's not real colorful, but it really shows another dimension to collecting. And that is political memorabilia. Will that focus? Something else I'll share maybe at a later episode is I've got all sorts of political buttons during the campaigns over the years. But this truly is kind of an interesting one. And again, if I had one from the Democratic Party, I would certainly show it. Again, it's something I picked up while I was out going through, estate sales and things of that nature. Look at this little one here. Again, let me take it out of its holder. Wow, that picks up pretty good. Chief Petty Officer, Honor, Courage, and Commitment, the United States Navy. Again, thank you all for your service. I love the color. I love the fact that it's got an anchor on it, a USN. Some of my great uncles were in the Navy, and they fought in World War II. And I had uncles and cousins and 4 ancestors that fought in earlier wars, World War I and back. And look at this. Look how colorful this is. Department of the Navy. I love the graphics on it. Just beautiful. Okay. And this one is very special. Look at this. Presented by the commander. Maintaining world peace. That is a desirable goal. World peace. And then look over here at this. Isn't it gorgeous? First Equipment Maintenance Squadron, Langley Air Force Base. Just superb. All the graphics on it, the coloring, and so forth. I've got one more that I'll share with you if I can get it open. And perhaps it's very meaningful in what it's showing as one of its major motifs. In other words, the images that it has on it. Liberty is not to be taken for granted. Look at that. Thank you for serving. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the colors of the flag, the dark borders, and the stars around it. And then you can look over here on this side. And it shows honor, duty, service, country. Past and present, United States Armed Forces. Okay, let me come back to the main camera. I hope you found this interesting. Freedom is not easy to have, and it's not easy to maintain. It takes a lot of hard work. And so it adds to my desire to collect challenge coins, knowing that literally the men and women in the armed services put their lives on the line every day to keep America free. And this is just one of those reminders, and it just turned into a major filled for collectors. And with that, if you've liked what you've seen, please leave a comment below. If you have challenge coins of your own, please send pictures. I would love to share them with our viewers. You guys take care, and until next time, as always, all the best.